The energy at Rogers Center was electric from the very first pitch. Fans came into Game 6 with thunderous anticipation, knowing that the Toronto Blue Jays had their backs against the wall. Every clap, every chant echoed through the dome as the team looked to set the tone early. After the disappointment of the previous game, Toronto's lineup looked locked in and ready to make a statement. They weren't just playing to stay alive, they were playing to reclaim pride, passion, and belief. From the moment the first inning began, it was clear that Toronto had made adjustments. The hitters were patient, refusing to chase early pitches. The opposing pitcher, visibly rattled, struggled with command. Each ball that missed the strike zone drew loud cheers from the Blue Jays faithful. You could feel the tension building, not the nervous kind, but the type that brews before something big happens. Toronto's offense looked dangerous, poised to break through. By the time the second inning rolled around, the crowd was practically on their feet. Everyone sensed that the Blue Jays were on the verge of striking first. And they did. After a perfectly executed hit and run, the first run crossed the plate, and the stadium erupted like a volcano. The sound was deafening. Players in the dugout jumped, waved towels, and shouted at the top of their lungs. It was the kind of moment every fan dreams of witnessing live. Moments later, another clutch single found the gap in left center field, bringing home the second run of the inning. Suddenly, the scoreboard read 2-0, and Toronto had seized control. The momentum had shifted entirely. The opposing team's dugout looked stunned, and the pitcher's body language told the whole story. The Blue Jays had not only taken the lead, they had sent a message. Toronto's hitters were playing with rhythm and confidence. You could see it in their swings, smooth, calculated, and fearless. The top of the lineup was setting the table perfectly, while the heart of the order did what they do best, drive in runs. The chemistry between the players was undeniable, a blend of youthful energy and veteran composure. This was the Blue Jays baseball that fans had been waiting to see all series long. Pitching, too, looked sharper than ever. Toronto's starter came out with a fiery demeanor, attacking the strike zone with precision. Fastballs hit the corners, sliders dipped perfectly out of reach, and curveballs froze batters in place. Every strikeout brought roars from the crowd. The pitcher's confidence seemed to grow with every pitch, feeding off the energy of the fans behind him. The defense played its part as well. A diving stop at third base saved what could have been a momentum-shifting double. The shortstop turned a slick double play that drew applause even from neutral spectators. Every inning, the Blue Jays looked like a unit, alert, disciplined, and fully committed. It was the kind of baseball that turns casual watchers into believers. By the fourth inning, Toronto had the crowd in the palm of their hand. Every foul ball felt like a battle won, every strike like a small victory. The players weren't just performing, they were performing with heart. The Blue Jays dugout was alive with chatter, energy, and focus. You could tell they wanted this win more than anything. The team's manager stood at the top step, calm but clearly proud. He knew his players were executing the plan to perfection. The early lead had taken pressure off, but no one was letting up. Keep attacking, you could almost hear him saying through his body language. As the game reached the middle innings, the Blue Jays continued to apply pressure. Even when they didn't score, they made every at-bat count. The opposing pitcher was forced into long counts, burning through energy early. The Toronto lineup had completely flipped the momentum of the series. This was no longer a team playing from behind, but one dictating the pace of the game. In the fifth, a close call at home plate brought fans to their feet again. The runner slid under the tag, dust flying everywhere. The umpire's hand signaled, safe, and the dome exploded in celebration. Toronto's players pointed toward the dugout, shouting and pounding their chests. It was passion, pure and unfiltered. Every camera in the building focused on the emotion, the clenched fists, the high fives, the tears of joy in the crowd. For many fans, this was the kind of baseball that made them fall in love with the sport in the first place. It wasn't just about stats or standings, it was about pride, community, and the belief that anything was possible. The opposing team tried to rally, but Toronto's defense stood tall. The outfielders read fly balls perfectly, cutting off extra bases. The catcher, ever composed, guided his pitcher through each count with intelligence and calmness. It was the kind of synergy that only comes from countless hours of preparation. As the innings passed, every pitch felt heavier. The game was still young, but those early 2 runs loomed large. Toronto's fans clapped rhythmically before every delivery, building an atmosphere that felt almost magical. Even TV viewers could feel the electricity through the screen. The Blue Jays bullpen began to stir in the sixth inning, but the starter showed no signs of fatigue. His fastball still had zip, his command unwavering. Every time he stepped off the mound, he looked toward his teammates with a determined nod, as if to say, "We're not done yet." Then came a pivotal defensive moment in the seventh, a deep fly ball to right field. It looked destined to clear the wall, but Toronto's outfielder leapt at the perfect time, glove extended, robbing a home run. The stadium went into chaos. Fans jumped, hugged, screamed, and waved their flags. It was the play of the night, maybe even the series. After that, it felt like destiny was on Toronto's side. Every bounce, every call seemed to go their way. The team's confidence was palpable. You could sense the belief spreading, not just among the players, but among everyone watching. By the eighth inning, chants of, "Let's go Blue Jays," echoed nonstop. The roof of Rogers Center seemed to vibrate with the sound. It was more than noise, it was hope turned into rhythm. The kind of energy that makes sports unforgettable. Toronto's closer began warming up, his expression stone cold. Fans recognized the moment, they knew what was coming. When the manager finally made the call to the bullpen, the crowd gave the starter a standing ovation. He had done his job perfectly, leaving the field to a chorus of cheers. The closer entered to a thunderous roar. Lights flashed, music boomed, and the entire stadium was on its feet. Every fan held their breath with each pitch. The first batter went down swinging. The second popped out to left field. And then, the final out, a fastball on the corner, strike three called. The Jays' dugout emptied onto the field in a wave of emotion. Toronto had done it. They had taken control of Game 6 with passion, precision, and poise. Those early 2 runs in the second inning turned out to be the spark that lit the fire. The Blue Jays had reminded the world why baseball in October is so special. Players hugged, coaches smiled, fans waved banners high above their heads. There was no better sight. The energy was contagious, something that would live in highlight reels for years to come. As the post-game interviews began, the players spoke not about individual success, but about unity. "We believed in each other," one said, his voice cracking with emotion. Another added, "This city deserves this." And indeed, Toronto did. Back in the locker room, champagne bottles popped. The music was loud, the laughter louder. The players danced, sprayed each other, and celebrated like a family. It wasn't just a win, it was a statement. Across social media, fans flooded timelines with messages of love and pride. Hashtags like #NextLevel and #OurMoment trended worldwide. Even rival teams' supporters admitted, Toronto had played beautiful baseball. Analysts praised the strategy, the composure, and the execution. But more than anything, they praised the heart. This wasn't just talent winning, it was teamwork triumphing under pressure. Outside the stadium, fans lingered for hours, singing, waving flags, and taking pictures. The streets of Toronto glowed blue and white under the city lights. Everyone knew this was more than just a lead, it was a spark that could carry the Blue Jays all the way to the finish line. Whether it would or not remained to be seen, but one thing was certain, Toronto had found its fire again. The victory chant continued late into the night, echoing through downtown. The city, once anxious, now roared with pride. It was one of those nights that reminded everyone why they loved the game. And somewhere deep in the dugout, the team huddled once more, eyes focused, hearts steady. "One game at a time," their captain said quietly. The message was simple, but powerful. Because in baseball, as in life, it's not how you start or stumble. It's about when you rise, and tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays rose higher than anyone expected.